I picked up an innocent, poor girl whom no one wanted. Because I was too lonely, I selfishly kept her by my side. I helped her pay off her debts, helped her go to school. Unfortunately, there was a big age gap between us. She remained distant and indifferent toward me. Until one day, a boy her age appeared. I witnessed with my own eyes how she became dazed and restless because of him, spent a sleepless night, and seemed relieved as if a burden had been lifted off her shoulders. She didn't even look back. That very day, I got into a car accident. Major news outlets reported that I had died. But unexpectedly, many years later, I reappeared. She broke down and grabbed me, saying, "Brother, I knew you weren't dead." I smiled coldly and replied, "That's right, I'm not dead. But I no longer want you anymore. It's been 4 years since my death." Shamefully, I came back this time just to reclaim something that originally belonged to me. The watch I cherished when I was alive, which was about to be auctioned off. That's why I quietly returned to the country. At the auction, I sat in the last row, tucked away in a corner. My assistant, Mason Reed, said, "Mr. Walker, the CEO Walker and your younger brother have both arrived. It seems they're aiming for the gold watch that belonged to you." I curled my lips into a smile. Of course they were. That gold watch was a personal gift from my grandmother when I turned 20. It had nothing to do with the Walker family. Back then, Ryan Walker was insanely jealous and threw a huge tantrum, shouting, "I'm the biological son of the Walker family. Why give it to Ethan Walker? He's not even one of us." At the birthday party, everyone heard this. That day, the secret of my origins was exposed. When my parents first married, doctors said they couldn't have children, so they adopted me. Unexpectedly, 7 years later, my mother miraculously got pregnant and gave birth to Ryan Walker. On the surface, we were both treated equally as their sons. But behind closed doors, it was a completely different story. My grandmother was the only one who truly loved me. After she passed away, I no longer had any protection in that family. 4 years ago, Ryan Walker developed depression. He pointed at my nose and shouted, "I don't want to see Ethan Walker anymore. Seeing him makes me sick." My parents looked at me with guilty expressions. "Ethan, we truly had no other choice. Could you leave this family for now?" I was kicked out so that Ryan Walker could have peace of mind. My parents bribed the media to publicly announce that I had died in a car accident. And so, I had been dead for 4 years. How strange. Mason Reed muttered beside me, "The Walker family is about to go bankrupt. Where would they even get the spare money to attend this auction?" A noblewoman sitting in the front overheard us and turned around to chat. "It seems you two aren't locals. How could you not know about Ryan Walker's rich heiress girlfriend?" I frowned slightly. She gestured toward a woman walking toward us and said admiringly, "That's Lily Carter, the current sole heir of the Carter Corporation." I hadn't even reacted yet when Lily Carter happened to glance in our direction. I immediately turned my head away. Thankfully, sitting in the last row where there were no lights, I remained hidden in the shadows where she couldn't see me clearly. It wasn't fear of seeing her. It was because I had promised my parents, after taking the money and leaving, I would never show up in front of Ryan Walker again, as a way of repaying their years of raising me. I didn't want to break that promise. The noblewoman enthusiastically continued explaining. "Lily Carter is actually the illegitimate daughter of the Carter Group's CEO. Before she turned 20, the Carter family didn't recognize her. After the legitimate daughter of the Carter family died from illness, with no other heirs left, they hurriedly brought Lily Carter back home. Don't be fooled by how capable she looks now. She's only 24 years old. 24, still so young." Taking advantage of the shadows, I quietly observed Lily Carter. She had changed a lot. The first time I met her, she was wearing a yellow t-shirt, patched all over, and jeans torn up to her knees. Now, she was stunningly beautiful and alluring, with long, mesmerizing hair falling over her slim waist, and a pair of rimless glasses resting lightly on her nose, giving off an elegant, icy charm. Her assistant was speaking to her. Whatever the assistant said, Lily Carter smiled and gently pushed up her glasses with a finger. That little motion. The scene stirred too many memories in me. Years ago, when we whispered to each other, I had once asked Lily Carter to wear glasses, because back then, I had a fondness for girls who carried that academic aura. When she wore glasses back then, she would push them up lightly with one finger, letting me press her down afterward. Who would have thought that the poor, obedient girl back then would one day become the queen of this grand hall? Mason Reed asked the noblewoman, "So what's the relationship between CEO Carter and Ryan Walker?" "What else could it be?" the noblewoman said with a meaningful smile. "Though it's not officially announced, everyone's gossiping about their upcoming marriage." I remained calm, my face expressionless, as if I hadn't heard anything. The auction began. The gold watch was brought onto the stage. I couldn't show my face to bid, so Mason Reed did it for me. Just as we were about to succeed, someone from the 10th row raised a paddle. 10 million. A soft, gentle voice cut in, Lily Carter's voice. I wasn't short of money, but compared to Lily Carter now, I couldn't compete. After several rounds, Mason Reed lost. The watch ended up in Lily Carter's hands. But why would a woman want a men's watch? Of course, to give it to a man. Mason Reed, frustrated, said, "Sorry, Mr. Walker." I comforted him, "It's fine." "Is she really going to give it to Ryan Walker?" Mason Reed complained, taking a dead ex's keepsake and gifting it to a current lover. "That's really low." I stared at Lily Carter's nape from behind, wanting badly to land a punch there. As if sensing something, she suddenly turned around. Maybe she just wanted to see who had been competing with her. But by coincidence, she caught sight of me. The lights crossed between us. Lily Carter froze for a moment, shocked. Maybe it was enough to scare her, having just bid for her dead ex-lover's keepsake, only to suddenly hallucinate seeing him again. As we left the auction hall, Mason Reed and I kept laughing. He asked, at first, "How did you and Lily Carter end up together?" "I forced and lured her," I replied to Mason Reed. But I wasn't lying. Back then, I couldn't be considered a good person. The first time we met, Lily Carter was 19 years old, while I was already 36. At that time, Ryan Walker hadn't yet developed depression, but our relationship was already strained. I lived alone outside the Walker family's estate, only occasionally returning home. One day, while walking my dog, I happened to see Lily Carter sitting blankly on the sidewalk. At that moment, I had only one thought: this girl was incredibly beautiful, with a beauty that matched my aesthetic perfectly. But sitting beside her was a bottle of pesticide. I recognized it from the news. The kind people often use to commit suicide. Looking at her clothes and her broken spirit, I quickly understood, this was a kitten backed into a dead end. Such a pity for that face. Even then, the little kitten still had some pride left. When she noticed me staring, she hurriedly tried to hide the pesticide behind her back. Maybe it was pity, maybe it was my natural playboy tendencies, but I went over and struck up a conversation with her. "See this dog of mine? It's a competition-level breed. Cost me $100,000. At that time, Lily Carter had never even heard that a dog could cost that much. She looked at me, then at the dog, finally appearing extremely disappointed. Perhaps feeling that even a dog was worth more than her own life. So I started a second round of conversation. "I'm rich, but I'm missing a girlfriend. Want to try?" Lily Carter didn't agree. But I wasn't in a hurry. I left her my phone number, confiscated her pesticide, and told her to think carefully and contact me if she wanted. A week later, Lily Carter called me. She came to find me, battered and bruised. Can you help me? She stood in the rain, looking at me with pleading eyes. I smiled and said, "Call me Big Brother." She was silent for a long time, then finally lowered her head and obediently whispered, "Big Brother." Later, I learned. Her mother had just died. Her mother hadn't been good to her. Whenever drunk, she would smash bottles over her, calling her a burden, a bastard. Over time, Lily Carter came to accept that her mother wasn't wrong, she was an illegitimate child. At first, her mother had hoped to use her to climb higher socially, but when that failed, even child support became scarce. Her mother resented her until death, and the only thing she left behind for Lily Carter was a massive debt of over $1 million. She couldn't pay it off. Debt collectors chased her to school, forcing her to drop out. The injuries she had when she came to me were from the thugs sent by her creditors. It was pitiful. And seeing her, I couldn't help but think of myself. A life unloved by both father and mother. In her, I saw a shadow of myself. That's why I treated her well. I paid off all her debts, helped her find a way back to school. As for Lily Carter, I never truly understood her. She was always obedient, responding whenever I called, working hard, even spending her part-time earnings to buy me gifts on holidays. Sometimes, she would hug me and quietly confide in me. But most of the time, she spoke very little, always seeming a little distant, a little cold. I thought it was just her nature. Until Ryan Walker appeared. Ryan Walker was like a ray of sunlight entering her life. They shared common interests, loved the same anime, understood internet memes that I knew nothing about. More importantly, they were the same age. Lily Carter began to smile more, talk more. I realized she was starting to regain her soul, her spirit. One day, Lily Carter begged me, "Please don't tell Ryan Walker about our relationship." That hurt. Was being with me really something so shameful? After all, our relationship wasn't exactly righteous. Not righteous? I froze. What do you think this year between us was? She pursed her lips. You're an investor. I worked part-time to buy gifts for my investor. I tied red threads with our names at the wishing tree in the temple, because I wanted the investor and me to stay together forever. When I was drunk, I said I wanted to grow old with the investor. And then she told me, to her, I was just an investor. She fell silent after that. I was furious and amused at the same time. I had treated her like a girlfriend, spoiled her with all my heart. Yet in the end, she thought our bond was nothing more than a transaction. No wonder she was always so obedient. And yet always so distant. It was the first time I got angry at her. That's right. I'm the investor, and you, as my pet, should know your place. What right do you have to make demands? After that, I deliberately called Lily Carter over in front of Ryan Walker and acted intimately with her. Lily Carter looked embarrassed but couldn't refuse. Later, Ryan Walker fell into depression. His parents demanded that I disappear. The day I decided to leave, I proposed breaking up with Lily Carter. She asked me why. I said, I'm tired of it. Her eyes darkened, but it was as if a burden had been lifted from her. When she left, she didn't even look back. The next day, news of my death in a car accident was reported. Looking back now, my death actually set her free. She must have already liked Ryan Walker back then. It's been 4 or 5 years now, such loyalty. I smiled calmly and walked down to the parking lot with Mason Reed. Suddenly, a voice called out behind me. With just one syllable, I knew it was Lily Carter. I was too familiar with her voice, soft, emotional, pleading, affectionate. I had heard it all before. Without stopping, I quickened my pace. Lily Carter stumbled and rushed to stand in front of me, her voice trembling. Ethan Walker, I know you're not dead. In the underground parking lot, her voice echoed. Mason Reed gave me a quick signal to run, but instead of running, I took off my mask and hat. In Lily Carter's eyes, a crazed joy appeared. "Brother, it's really you. Who are you looking for?" I asked. Lily Carter was stunned. "Brother, don't joke around. What did you just call me?" "Ethan Walker." "I'm not him. You've mistaken me." I took out my documents for her to see. My name was Evan Blake. Lily Carter furrowed her brows tightly. I pulled out every piece of ID I had, black ink on white paper, all clearly stating, Evan Blake. I thought she had seen clearly, but she still clung to me stubbornly. There can't be two people who look exactly the same in this world. You must be him. Brother, I never saw your body back then. I knew you were still alive. Heaven didn't betray me. I finally found you. I grew impatient. I told you, I'm not him. Miss, if you continue like this, I will call the police. Eventually, I managed to get away from her. As the car drove farther away, Lily Carter still stood frozen in place. Mason Reed said, "You really are living a whole new life now. Next time, be careful not to accidentally call your real name." I nodded. Actually, Mason Reed didn't understand. I didn't change my name to escape from anyone. I simply wanted to leave the Walker family behind and live as myself. I heard my biological mother's surname was Blake, so I named myself Evan Blake, hoping to start over. It's not too late yet. I thought that auction would just be a small episode. I didn't expect to meet Lily Carter again the next night. At a crowded bar, nobody could see anyone clearly. I paid no attention to her. Somehow, she managed to squeeze behind me. "Brother," she called out, her voice incredibly gentle. Even in the noisy environment, it was like a cool spring flowing into my ears. "I'm not the person you're looking for. Please stop calling me that. You are that person." "Miss, you're truly mistaken," I said, turning around. I saw Lily Carter's eyes filled with tears, emotions swirling in them. "You're him," she insisted, reaching out and suddenly touching the back of my neck. "You forgot to hide your birthmark, brother." On the back of my neck, there was a small, crescent-shaped red birthmark. When Ryan Walker grew up, he read somewhere that a blood moon was unlucky. He went around telling people, "My brother is a bad omen." People outside just laughed it off, but my parents believed it. They made me hide the birthmark out of shame. I never understood. It was just a birthmark. What was so shameful about it? In my memory, only one person said it looked cool, Lily Carter. At 19, she had kissed the moon on my neck. She made me believe she liked me too. Now, at 24, Lily Carter was staring at me like she wanted to burn my skin. I said, "What's wrong with a birthmark? Am I the only one allowed to have one?" "Face, birthmark, everything is exactly the same. Brother, how long do you plan to keep hiding from me?" I couldn't help but laugh. I simply didn't want to pay attention to her. After that, no matter what Lily Carter said, I ignored it all and instead exchanged contact information with a girl passing by. Lily Carter said, "Brother, I've been looking for you everywhere all these years. Can you at least look at me? I've grown taller now. Your ideal type was a girl 1.7 meters tall, I've reached that height. Brother, I haven't been with anyone all these years. I have no relationship whatsoever with Ryan Walker. Please don't be angry with me anymore, okay?" Still, I ignored her. Just then, a girl came over and asked if I wanted to come to her place tonight. I deliberately pretended to agree. Lily Carter grew completely anxious. "Don't agree with her. Didn't you say you only loved me?" As she spoke, she suddenly grabbed my hand and placed it on her chest, loudly shouting that I was harassing her. The whole bar fell silent. Everyone turned to look at us. I stood there dumbfounded, not knowing what to do. She smiled at me with a particularly gentle and satisfied look. "You can't leave. You can only stay with me." 30 minutes later, I was forced to accompany Lily Carter to the police station. Originally, I was about to leave, but the bar owner, thinking I was some pervert, called the police. Now, Lily Carter and I were being interrogated separately. While registering my information, Lily Carter suddenly came over. I knew what she was thinking. At the police station, no one can hide their identity. But I wasn't afraid. I presented my ID card to the police, who scanned it and said, "You've always been abroad?" "Yes. Just returned recently and already ran into this mess. My parents have passed away." The police showed sympathy and returned my documents. "We checked the surveillance footage. This has nothing to do with you. You're free to go." "Brother." Lily Carter couldn't believe it. "He didn't change his name?" "No, it's the same in the system." "How is that possible?" I secretly smiled and walked out proudly. Life is tough for Chinese people abroad. I had to work very hard to become a Chinese entrepreneur. How could I not handle a small matter like this? Mason Reed was waiting for me in the car. Just as I closed the car door, Lily Carter suddenly blocked it with her hand. It must have hurt a lot, but she didn't seem to feel it at all. "Brother, don't you want to take back the golden watch?" I hesitated. The golden watch from Grandma. That was a weak spot for me. But even so, I couldn't let it control me. I forced myself to be firm. "I don't want it anymore." I smiled gently, like a passing breeze. "Congratulations on successfully bidding for that collectible. You must have paid a high price because it holds special meaning, right?" I showed no weakness. Lily Carter couldn't hide her disappointment. She leaned against the car door, unintentionally revealing the bracelet on her wrist. It was a bracelet I had given her many years ago as a promise. Thinking back, it was because of that bracelet that I once firmly believed Lily Carter and I would be together. That was the year we had just started dating. I bought a bracelet to surprise her. At that time, Lily Carter was rarely home. Even on Valentine's Day, she didn't answer my calls until late evening. I was a bit upset. "Where have you been all day? I couldn't find you anywhere." "I'll be home soon," she said. Then I saw a dining table behind her in the video call, dusty and messy. I grew suspicious. "Where are you, really?" Her eyes dodged mine. "Brother, wait for me at home. I'll be right there." Before she could finish her sentence, I saw a woman in a restaurant uniform walk past behind her. I was stunned. "You're at a fast food restaurant." She sent me her location. When I arrived, her shift had just ended. She sat alone on a bench outside, carrying a bag with her dirty work clothes. I asked, "Have you been coming here every day, working from morning till night?" She nodded. "The money I gave you wasn't enough?" I asked bluntly. Lily Carter's expression showed a flash of pain. "I wanted to earn some money myself. I didn't want to wait for you to find a connection. I also wanted to go back to school. And yet you chose to work at a place like this?" I looked around at the shabby fast food shop. She whispered almost inaudibly, "They pay daily wages here. Are you disgusted with me now?" I couldn't hear clearly and asked, "What did you say?" "Nothing," she quickly replied, returning to her usual cold demeanor. But before she held my hand, she first wiped her hand on her clothes, as if wiping away invisible dust. When we got home, Lily Carter said, "Today is Valentine's Day. I used my salary to buy a gift for you. Coincidentally, you bought one too. Let's exchange them." We hid our gifts behind our backs, and after counting to 3, we revealed them together. At the count of 3, 2 jewelry boxes appeared in front of us. Identical boxes, identical bracelets inside. Hers was worth 500, mine was worth 50,000. Honestly, I don't remember exactly what Lily Carter's expression was at that moment. I just remember she looked a little flustered and shy as she said, "Sorry, I don't really know much about brands. I didn't realize it was fake. I just thought it was pretty. I worked at a shop for a few days and wanted to buy this for you." It was a gift she bought with her own sweat and tears. I felt completely content. "It's fine, Lily. It's not about that. Put it on me." The next day, when some friends came over, Lily Carter was washing fruits in the kitchen. One sharp-eyed friend said to me, "Ethan Walker, how could you fall so low? Wearing a fake bracelet?" At that moment, Lily Carter's back froze. I smiled and replied, "I like it. I'll wear whatever I want." "You're not afraid of being laughed at?" they teased. That night, while showering, I took off the bracelet and left it by the sink. When I came back out, it was gone, thrown into the trash. Lily Carter said, "Fake is fake. It's not worthy of you. Now you don't have a Valentine's gift anymore. There will be others." She lowered her eyes, her expression unreadable, but her tone unusually serious. "Brother, one day I'll buy you a real one." At that moment, I truly thought Lily Carter liked me. Later, something else happened. Lily Carter's uncle found her. This uncle, who had never cared about her or her mother, suddenly showed up when he heard she had a wealthy boyfriend, trying to leech off her. When Lily Carter refused, he lost his temper right there in a restaurant, publicly insulting her. He called her a gold digger, just like her cheap mother. His words deeply hurt Lily Carter. She slapped him. But her uncle hadn't come alone. He brought a few thugs who dragged Lily Carter into a small alley and beat her. Someone even tried to snatch her bracelet, the bracelet I had given her. Lily Carter went crazy, rushing to pick it up. Her uncle thought it must be something valuable and tried to take it by force. But Lily Carter curled up, clutching the bracelet tightly to her chest, refusing to let go no matter how much they beat her. I later saw all of this through surveillance footage. That day, when I found Lily Carter, she was slumped in a deserted alley, hair disheveled, lips bruised beyond recognition. She was carefully cleaning the bracelet with the relatively clean part of her shirt, before putting it back on her wrist. I ran over and hugged her tightly. I told her, "Don't be afraid. From now on, I'll protect you." That day, Lily Carter hugged me for a very, very long time. I really thought she liked me. At this point, my memories abruptly ended. Mason Reed and I had returned to the hotel. As usual, before bed, he would report the day's news. Mason Reed was halfway through his report when he suddenly froze. "Something's wrong," he said, his voice trembling. "You've been photographed. Not just me, Lily Carter too." More precisely, the main subject of the photos was Lily Carter. She had suddenly become the new heiress of the Carter Corporation. With her stunning looks and figure, she had always attracted attention abroad. I had often seen news about her. Now, the media had captured Lily Carter losing control in a bar. And of course, I appeared in the photos too. In the comments section, someone asked, "Is the man next to Lily Carter her new boyfriend? Did she break up with Ryan Walker?" And soon, people started investigating me. One particularly resourceful internet user even found old photos of me, exclaiming in shock. This seemed to be breaking news. The handsome guy in the photo looked very much like Lily Carter's ex-boyfriend. Can you guys tell them apart? Oh my God, I heard her ex-boyfriend was the older brother of her current lover, who has already passed away. Someone save me, what kind of replacement fiction is this? Staying by the younger brother just because she missed the older brother, and now finding a replacement who looks even more like the older brother. I don't even know whether to call her loyal or heartless. But then, Everyone, please, Lily Carter and Ryan Walker were never publicly together. They were never photographed interacting closely. Lily Carter always had a cold face. Why ship them? Agreed. I checked, and there's no evidence they ever dated. Only some marketing accounts trying to force the pairing. I managed to escape the fandom just in time. The discussion got more and more off track, so I got lazy, tossed my phone aside, and went to sleep. A few days later, Mason Reed and I went out for a stroll. Passing by the newly opened Carter Corporation shopping center, we spotted a crowd from afar. With sharp eyes, Mason Reed said, "That's Lily Carter and Ryan Walker. They're hosting the opening ceremony." Ryan Walker wasn't standing next to Lily Carter. Between them were several high-ranking managers. Looking at the arrangement, Ryan Walker seemed to have squeezed in awkwardly. He kept shifting side to side as if trying to show something off. I narrowed my eyes. He was flaunting a gold watch on his wrist. That watch. Mason Reed noticed too and cursed under his breath. I had mentally prepared myself better than him, so I stayed calmer. "Let's just go. Don't bother looking at that filth," I said. We were about to leave when a reporter suddenly asked, "Miss Carter, the watch you bought for $10 million at the auction, now seen on Mr. Walker's wrist, does this mean there's good news coming?" Lily Carter frowned and turned to look at Ryan Walker. In that instant, her eyes turned red with rage. "What are you wearing?" she asked sharply. The entire place fell silent. Even I stopped walking. "Who gave you the courage to wear a fake watch at Carter Corporation's grand opening?" Her words exploded like a bomb. The whole venue erupted into chaos. Ryan Walker was humiliated. "This isn't a fake," he insisted. But Lily Carter went ballistic. She violently tore the fake watch off his wrist and threw it on the ground. "You're not worthy of wearing my brother's watch. Even a fake one, you're not worthy. Ryan Walker, how many times have I warned you? Stop playing these petty tricks. You and your parents have spent years using my brother to blackmail me, forcing me to tolerate your behavior, to help your crumbling family. But now, I won't endure it anymore. Take your bought and paid for marketing campaigns and get out of my sight." The reporters were stunned. What could be more sensational than a public feud on stage? Someone recovered first. Click. A flash lit up the entire area like it was broad daylight. Then, dozens of cameras started clicking furiously. Ryan Walker was utterly humiliated. A man who cared so much about saving face couldn't even lift his head. Yet he didn't dare argue with Lily Carter. Over the years, he had all but destroyed the Walker family fortune, relying entirely on Lily Carter's support to stay afloat. Enraged, he turned his anger onto the reporters instead. He grabbed a pen from the table, pointed it at a reporter, and cursed viciously, "Why the hell are you taking photos? You dare shoot that kind of damned news?" Tragically, the tip of the pen stabbed directly into the reporter's eyelid, eliciting a horrible scream. It was over. Ryan Walker had caused serious trouble. Given his temper, this wasn't his first scandal. But before, his parents and Lily Carter always helped cover it up. This time, there was no way to clean up the mess. The whole ugly scene made the front pages within hours. The ones crying the hardest were the shippers who had supported the fake pairing all this time. Turns out, it was all lies. All orchestrated by Ryan Walker, who paid for articles to generate buzz. Worse, his family had even exploited a deceased loved one to keep Lily Carter tied to them. Absolutely despicable. From beginning to end, the one Lily Carter liked had always been Ethan Walker. But they could never have a happy ending. They were forever separated now. A commenter wrote, "You're breaking my heart. There's nothing good about the Walker family. From now on, I'll boycott all their restaurant chains." Someone asked, "What happened to the injured reporter?" Another replied, "Not good. He was rushed to the hospital and underwent emergency surgery. They managed to save his eye, but his vision was permanently damaged. Even worse, the reporter had just lost his mother not long ago. All because of Ryan Walker's cruelty. The reporter is determined to sue him for intentional assault. Lily Carter did not intervene at all. Mason Reed was the one who knew everything. He heard that the Walker family parents still wanted to salvage their son's reputation. They went to ask Lily Carter for help but were kicked out by her. Very quickly, the shopping mall owned by Lily Carter started inviting the Walker family's restaurant rivals inside. I knew she turned her face so quickly because I had returned. She had found me. She no longer needed to endure humiliation from that family. However, my foster father, the CEO Walker, had a plan. He publicly released Ryan Walker's diagnosis of depression, each word dripping with sorrow. My son is a pure-hearted child. His soul has always been sensitive and fragile. He had been diagnosed with depression long ago. I believe he didn't mean any harm. Could everyone give patients with depression a little more love and tolerance? This PR move immediately swayed public opinion. I didn't really care how Ryan Walker was doing. I only knew I needed to take advantage of the distraction to visit my grandmother's grave. In the past, CEO Walker was afraid I'd sneak back into the country, so he sent people to guard my grandmother's grave. If I appeared, they would report back to him. Now he was too busy to care. I spent half a day talking to my grandmother about trivial things abroad. Just as I was about to leave, I saw someone approaching from across the way. Lily Carter stood frozen, holding a bouquet of flowers. Sure enough, it was her older brother she was seeing. She was extremely emotional. Lily Carter had come to visit my grandmother's grave. She knew about our close relationship and had helped me visit every year. In Lily Carter's eyes, there was a glimmer of hope. "Why didn't you acknowledge me before?" she asked. I said coldly, "I didn't want to." "Isn't that enough? Are you still angry at me?" she asked. "Don't overthink it," I answered, keeping my distance. "Your brother didn't want you long ago." Lily Carter said, "I can explain. When Ryan Walker appeared, I mistook him. Don't you remember, 10 years ago?" Before she could finish, a girl suddenly appeared. "Brother, Assistant Reed has something to do today, so I came to pick you up," she said. The girl looked at me with admiration and added, "This limited edition bracelet suits you so well." She blushed and smiled brightly. It was Bella Carter. She glanced at Lily Carter as if just noticing her and said in surprise, "Oh, cousin." Lily Carter's face turned terribly pale. "Bella Carter, why are you here?" "I'm studying business management with your brother," Bella Carter replied innocently. "Right, brother," she added. I got in the car, cutting off any further nonsense. "Stop wasting time chatting with outsiders. Let's go. I'm tired today." "Brother, you've worked hard. Tonight, I'll massage your feet," Bella Carter said triumphantly, looking smugly at Lily Carter. Lily Carter blocked the car door, preventing her from getting in. "On what basis?" she demanded, her voice chilling. It felt like she might tear Bella Carter apart at any moment. But Bella Carter just smiled and said, "Based on the fact that I'm already 19 this year." Bella Carter was the daughter of Lily Carter's uncle. They were never close in childhood. When the eldest daughter of Chairman Carter died of illness, there were rumors that Bella Carter would inherit the family business. Unexpectedly, Chairman Carter found his biological daughter, Lily Carter, and Bella Carter faded out of public view. She went abroad to study. That's how we met. In truth, there was nothing between me and Bella Carter, only a friendship. Because of the age gap, I couldn't possibly develop romantic feelings. However, Bella Carter was good at playing the art game, being ambiguous and saying things with hidden meanings. Sometimes it seemed like her gentle words hit just the right spot. But Lily Carter never gave up. She somehow got my phone number and texted me, saying she wanted to return the golden watch that belonged to my grandmother. Of course, I didn't refuse. We arranged a meeting at a hotel. Lily Carter placed the watch in front of me. I smiled brightly and said, "Brother, what's wrong?" While I was looking at the watch, I glanced up and realized she had been staring at me for a long time. She said softly, "It's been a while since I saw you smile like that. Your smile is beautiful, brother. Smile more often." "Thank you for the watch," I replied, collecting myself. Then Lily Carter pulled out a small green box and said, "And this is for you." Inside was her bracelet. She was fulfilling an old promise. I pushed the bracelet back toward her. "No need," I said. Lily Carter's face showed a hint of disappointment. "Brother, there's something I have to tell you face to face. 10 years ago." Another brother suddenly interrupted her. Bella Carter came out from the bathroom, wrapped in a towel, hair still wet. "Brother, where's my t-shirt? Mason Reed went to get it, right?" "I'll just wear one of your shirts for now," she said, looking around and smiling sweetly. Then she turned to Lily Carter and said casually, "Cousin, you're here too. Want some fruit?" Her tone suggested she treated this place as her own home. First shock, then devastation. The light in Lily Carter's eyes dimmed completely, like a dried-up well. After Lily Carter left, Bella Carter dropped her act and asked, "Brother Evan, what were you two talking about earlier?" "There was nothing. Just now, I heard my cousin mention that you and she knew each other 10 years ago." I frowned, thinking hard. Was there? I don't remember. I wasn't sure what tricks she was planning this time, but I wasn't curious. Mason Reed had already bought a plane ticket and would be leaving in half a month. I planned to leave then too. I didn't expect, however, to be confronted by my so-called parents before that. These two still had the nerve to come find me. In the past, they pretended to care about family ties. Now they had completely torn off the facade. CEO Walker pointed at me angrily. "Ethan Walker, why did you come back? You want to kill your little brother, don't you?" I calmly took a sip of my coffee. "My name is Evan Blake," I said. "Evan Blake, you heartless beast!" CEO Walker roared. "You're an ungrateful wolf that the Walker family raised." I chuckled coldly. "When you kicked me out of the house, why didn't you say that? When you abandoned me alone at the amusement park, why didn't you say that? When I was burning with fever, close to death, and no one cared enough to take me to a hospital, why didn't you say that?" CEO Walker, always well-fed and bloated, was now so furious that even the fat on his face quivered. "You did it on purpose. You feral beast. You knew your brother had depression, and you still deliberately came back to harm him, didn't you?" I spoke slowly. "Ryan Walker has depression? Are you sure?" CEO Walker flinched. Years of surviving the ruthless business world had made him a sly old fox. Even if only for a moment, he couldn't hide his panic. But very quickly, he put on his usual bluster. "Of course he does. I'm his father. I know him best. Only a heartless monster like you would question it. You're the one who made him sick." I slowly pulled out a piece of paper from my folder, covering the top half with my hand. "Is the diagnosis report something like this?" He immediately answered, "Yes, that's right. How do you have that?" I shifted my hand slightly, revealing the patient's name. CEO Walker froze. His precious son had, indeed, been tested. Then, I pulled out another sheet. "Here's another report. Patient Ryan Walker. All indicators, normal. Healthy, extremely healthy." The expression on CEO Walker's face became ridiculous. Maybe deep down he had known all along. A man who had fought his way through the cutthroat business world couldn't possibly have been fooled by such obvious lies. He had simply chosen to believe them, until now, when the truth was laid bare and he could no longer pretend. His previous arrogance vanished completely. Ethan Walker. Maybe your brother's illness wasn't diagnosed yet, he muttered weakly. Oh? So you're saying a top-tier hospital missed a major illness like depression? My son said he was sick, so he must be. Even if he's just a little upset, what's wrong with that? You're his older brother, you should. I stayed silent. I genuinely didn't know where to start mocking him. After a long moment, I gave a small, cold smile. Be honest. Why did you adopt me in the first place? Was it because you planned to have your own biological child later? In his agitation, CEO Walker blurted out the truth without thinking. In folk tradition, it's said that when a couple struggles to conceive, they should first adopt a child, and then they'll more easily have one of their own. So, it turned out, they had never truly wanted me as their child. I was merely a tool to help Ryan Walker be born. Half a lifetime, nothing but a big, ridiculous joke. That night, my mood was heavy. I went out drinking. Slightly drunk when I stumbled out of the bar, I saw a figure sitting by the road. Her skin was pale, even her professional attire couldn't hide her alluring figure. Seeing me, Lily Carter stood up and called out, "Brother." My steps were unsteady. She hurried over to support me. "Why did you drink so much? Come, let's go back to my place." Lily Carter hesitated slightly. I laughed bitterly. "Don't misunderstand. You still haven't finished telling me your story. Tonight, I suddenly want to hear it, the story from 10 years ago, about you and Ryan Walker." She gently supported me as we walked forward. "It wasn't with Ryan Walker, brother," she said. "It was 10 years ago, with you." I recognized the place where Lily Carter was living now. It was the small house I had rented after I moved out from the Blake family back then. After my death, she had bought it. The furniture, the layout, even the flower vase on the table, all remained exactly as they were. She even replaced the roses regularly with the same color and arranged them the exact same way, 3 flowers, the same direction. From the house, she carefully took out a box filled with old letters, the paper slightly yellowed with age. Seeing the handwriting, I froze. These letters were written by me. She lovingly smoothed out the creases in the paper. "You are Moonbreaker, aren't you?" Moonbreaker was the pen name I had once used for a brief period. 10 years ago, by pure chance, I had become pen pals with a junior high school girl. She poured her heart out to me through her letters, telling me about her sorrows and loneliness. At that time, I too was suffering from emotional neglect, and reading her words resonated deeply with me. Our correspondence was pure, nothing more than 2 lonely souls comforting each other. I tried to encourage her to study hard and look ahead. But I never told her my real name or age. I was afraid that if she knew I was much older, she would feel the distance and stop writing. When she asked my age, I lied, telling her I was around the same age as her. Later, our letters were interrupted. And after that, Ryan Walker discovered my old pen name, Moonbreaker. Thinking it sounded nice, he insisted on using it himself for his social media accounts. He wouldn't even let me use it anymore. I had completely forgotten about this matter. If I hadn't seen those letters, perhaps even decades later I wouldn't have remembered. "Brother," Ryan Walker used the name Moonbreaker online and claimed to be the same age as you, so you assumed it was him writing those letters. You even asked him directly, and he admitted it. This surprised me, but thinking carefully, it was very much Ryan Walker's style. When Lily Carter asked, he immediately assumed the identity. After all, Lily Carter was strikingly beautiful and came from a good family, otherwise Ryan Walker wouldn't have pursued her so persistently. But this wasn't what puzzled me. "You said I was just an investor." "Everyone said so." "Who is everyone?" I asked. Lily Carter lowered her gaze. Her eyelashes were long and beautiful. So many people. Classmates, colleagues, friends. Even your friends, she said softly. I was stunned for a moment. Back then, I had a few so-called friends who only stayed close for family interests. They were polite in front of me but mocked Lily Carter behind my back, calling her a pet, a servant in the house. Even the driver would secretly say such things. No matter how serious she was about work and study, in their eyes, she was just a plaything, not worth a place at the table. Those rumors even spread to her school, isolating her in the dormitory. Yet, even so, she didn't leave me. When Lily Carter recalled all this, she was very calm, without any resentment. She had grown up and long since reconciled with those humiliations. Brother, every time I wanted to refute them, I couldn't find the words, she said, because deep down, they weren't wrong. Lily Carter gave a bitter smile. When she was a child, she had been ostracized because of her mother. When she grew up, because of love. That was her reality. I said, you must hate me a lot then, right? For bringing you so much pain. On the contrary, her voice was gentle. Brother, when I was in middle school, I wanted to drop out. Your letters encouraged me to continue studying. When I was 19, I was ready to end my life. It was you who reached out and pulled me back. Twice, you cleared away the fog in my life and led me towards the light. I have today because of you, Ethan Walker. No, Evan Blake. I am grateful to you. I also love you very much. I blinked. What exactly was our relationship? Talking about money and love at the same time. But when money comes before love, the love seems to get erased. At first, I approached Lily Carter just because I wanted to raise a little kitten. But later, she was no longer just a pet. She became my companion in loneliness, the arms that embraced me through endless nights, satisfying every longing and dream. Although she appeared aloof and proud, she never once left when I needed her most. Lily Carter had always longed to escape her humble identity. Unfortunately, reality kept dragging her down into the dirt again and again. Even after she became CEO Evan, one of the most distinguished women, she never forgot that she had once been pulled out of the mud. Lily Carter buried her head on my knees. The living room was silent except for her faint sobbing, not heart-wrenching but almost peaceful, like a form of release. Being able to stay with you, brother, is the greatest blessing of my life, she said. I still didn't get back together with Lily Carter, not out of anger, nor because I wanted her to regret anything. At my age, my mindset had changed. Love could exist, but it was no longer as important. Compared to Lily Carter, my business overseas was far more enticing to me. However, the situation with the Walker family was not over yet. Ryan Walker's fake diagnosis of depression was somehow exposed. The Walker family suspected it was me, but honestly, it wasn't. I had wanted to do it. But considering the favor they had once given me by raising me, I spared their lives. In the end, though, there's an old saying, if you don't want others to know, don't do it. Ryan Walker's reputation completely collapsed. Those who once pitied and spoke well of him now cursed him the loudest. Meanwhile, my own identity was also revealed. Ethan Walker was not dead. Someone leaked the truth back then just to make it easier for Ryan Walker to claim the title. Now the public outrage against the Walker family was overwhelming. No amount of PR could save them. Facing this crisis, no company dared to defend them anymore. The public spontaneously boycotted all of the Walker family's restaurant chains. In a fit of rage and despair, General Director Walker sought someone to take revenge on me. I was completely unprepared. That night, I was ambushed in a dark alley. Mason Reed was knocked unconscious, and I was forced to inhale some kind of sedative. Drowsy and unable to resist, I was beaten by a group of thugs. Someone nearby was taking photos, yelling that I was assaulting Moonbreaker. This was the Walker family's revenge. They wanted me dead. The blows to my head were too heavy. I was about to lose consciousness when suddenly, a man was yanked away and fell to the ground. It was Lily Carter. She had brought a group of subordinates with her. I caught a glimpse of Lily Carter wielding a metal rod before I completely blacked out. When I woke up, I was lying in an unfamiliar room. Lily Carter was sitting by my side. "Where is this?" I asked hurriedly. "Where's Mason Reed?" "He's fine. He's in the next room," she replied. "This is a nearby hotel. I brought both of you here." Only then did I notice Lily Carter's body was covered in blood, her white shirt was stained red. "You're hurt. We need to go to the hospital," I said. "I'm fine, brother," she comforted me gently. "It's all their blood." Her calmness was unsettling. A terrible premonition rose in me. "What did you do?" I asked. "I killed one of them," she said. I was stunned. Lily Carter tenderly caressed me, as if trying to reassure me. "It was my hand that struck too hard. It has nothing to do with you, brother. I will bear all the responsibility alone." She had taken a life. I was extremely tense, but quickly forced myself to calm down. I reached out and caressed her face. "I'll find a lawyer. The best one. I'll testify for you in court, prove that you acted to save me. We'll start preparing immediately." "You don't have to, brother," she said, her eyes reddening as she gripped my hand tightly. "None of it is real." After a long moment, tears streamed down her face as she wept bitterly. "Brother, this dream was beautiful, but it's time to wake up." Inmate number 7, Lily Carter. Roll call. The prison guard's voice echoed. Lily Carter glanced over with empty eyes. Her voice was exhausted. The senior guard was surprised. "She's unusually lucid today," he said. The new junior guard asked, "What's wrong with her, brother?" "She looked so beautiful when she came in here, but her mind was already unstable, hallucinating, always calling for her brother." "Brother? Lover?" "Not her brother," the older guard explained. "Her ex-boyfriend. You don't know? 4 years ago, this girl stabbed and killed the young master of the Walker family, Ryan Walker. That case was all over the news back then." The young guard was shocked. "Really? I hadn't heard." The senior guard snorted. The Walker family's restaurant chain used to be famous. The family had 2 sons. The elder, Ethan Walker, was adopted. The younger, Ryan Walker, was their biological son. 4 years ago, Ryan Walker claimed to be suffering from depression, unable to bear living under his elder brother's shadow. Guess what the Walker family did? They schemed to drive Ethan Walker out of the house and faked a car accident to make it seem like he died, so their biological son could rest easy. The senior guard clicked his tongue. What a twisted family. The young guard eagerly asked, "And then? What happened next?" No one knows exactly, but somehow Ryan Walker found out about everything. He secretly replaced the driver and, personally, ended up actually killing Ethan Walker in a real crash. The young guard gasped in horror. "That's terrible." The senior guard sighed heavily. The Walker family used their influence to help Ryan Walker escape punishment. He blatantly committed murder but remained free, like nothing happened. Disgusting. And inmate number 7, he continued, was once Ethan Walker's girlfriend. Some say she was just a kept woman. Who knows? After she learned the truth about Ethan Walker's death and got no justice through the law, she used the same method to stab and kill Ryan Walker. The guard's voice was as calm and heavy as the twilight falling outside. After killing him, she immediately turned herself in. Only after checking her identity did they realize she was the illegitimate daughter of the Blake Corporation. In my opinion, the senior guard added, this girl had loyalty and true feelings. If she wanted, she could have used the Blake Corporation's power to escape punishment, but she chose to face it head-on. But she didn't do that. The Walker family's restaurant was completely ruined by her and quickly declared bankruptcy. Within a few years, both the owner and his wife passed away. The young prison guard was very emotional. In prisoner number 7's dreams, she must have encountered Ethan Walker again. Surely that was it. The Blake group had hired a psychologist to visit her every month. The doctor said that, in her hallucinations, she was trying to make amends and explain misunderstandings. What misunderstandings? How would I know? 2 prison guards sat by the window, time dragging slowly, another ordinary day passing. What misunderstandings could there be? Maybe it was the handwritten letters of youth, the regret of mistaking someone's identity, the weakness of not having the courage to admit their relationship, the bracelet that was never given, the countless times reality defeated them, the words, "I love you," that were never spoken aloud. 10 years later, I returned to the country. Stepping once more onto this land that had once brought me such heartbreak, my mood was astonishingly calm. Just after my 37th birthday, I received a strange call from within the country asking if I could pick someone up. The name spoken on the other end was one I hadn't heard for a very long time. Even after so long, hearing that name made me freeze for a moment. I returned and went to the women's prison. Waiting for me were not just the guards but also a psychologist. They showed me the psychological therapy reports for Lily Carter over the years. More precisely, records from every time she experienced hallucinations. She hoped I was still alive. She hoped my career had succeeded. She hoped I was angry with her, but that there would still be a chance to hear her explain herself. She wanted a chance to express her true feelings. In her hallucinations, I would finally caress her face. After reading the lengthy records, I stayed silent for a long time. Touching my own face. Yes, I didn't die, but I had completely changed my appearance. That year, Ryan Walker nearly killed me. I escaped and fled abroad for medical treatment, not daring to contact anyone back home. The car accident had disfigured me. The doctors had no choice but to perform plastic surgery to reconstruct my appearance. I also changed my name, so no one knew that I was Ethan Walker. I lived a completely new life overseas, a happy and fulfilling one. To this day, I have not married, because there was no need. I loved my work and, as I had wished, became a renowned Chinese entrepreneur. Now, Lily Carter is about to be released from prison. The doctor said her condition has nearly fully recovered, and during her sentence, she demonstrated excellent behavior. I contacted her family, but they refused to come. She was an orphan. I suppose the only person she could call family was me. I adopted her. I truly had no choice. The doctor said. We believe it was a subconscious hallucination. The patient created an image of a 19-year-old girl identical to herself, punishing herself emotionally. I studied the report for a long time, and finally nodded. All right. I'll take her with me. The doctor was overjoyed. You really agree? Yes. The past is past. I've moved on. At nearly 40 years old, what is there that I can't let go of? Besides, my career is at a transition stage, and her connection to the Blake Group could be useful to me. Thinking this, I couldn't help but mock myself. Already at this age, yet everything I thought about was driven by personal gain. It wasn't a good thing. I signed the papers, then went to visit my grandmother's grave first. I had arranged with the prison guard to pick her up in the afternoon. But by the time I rushed back, I was already late. Spring in the homeland was always magnificent and lively. The fragrance of flowers surged like a tide, soaking deep into my soul. In front of the prison gates, Lily Carter sat quietly by the roadside. Petals drifted down, landing gently on her shoulders. She was no longer the naive girl she once was. Yet somehow, she was still the girl from back then. I gazed at her for a long time, then reached out my hand toward her. Big Brother is here to pick you up, just like before. If you're enjoying the story, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel and keeps more videos coming your way. Thank you for listening.